Probably should have changed batteries, but we'll see how far we get. I'm going to take a little different approach to the knife review for you, just to change it up and keep it fresh for you while you're sweating it out in the desert. Hopefully this will give you something to think about. I know you've heard me talk about this knife before, but since it's potentially leaving my collection, I thought I would take you through it like we just bought it, right? So this is a Williams. There's also another reason why I wanted to go through this like it's brand new. And this is a Williams Blade Kaiken. This specific model is the Osuraku. Let me look at their card. The Osuraku Zukuri Kaiken. There we go. Yeah, so here we go. They have a little QR code for the website. A manufacturer's COA, which is nice for people who care about that. And then here's the knife in its little display box. I'm going to try and not get sweat all over it. It is hot in this garage. So it's a fairly standard Kydex sheath with a single soft loop. Now the Kydex sheath is pretty thick. Some people use Kydex that is a lot thinner. These are from Trick Knives out in, I think, Lithuania. And the sheaths by them, like their OEM sheaths, I've come to like a lot. So they don't offer like a ton. It's a pretty basic sheath, but the lockup is always super reliable. It's very, I don't know. It's very easy to index with. The thumb ramp is very easy to control the brake with. Their sheaths are just dependable, right? But they're simple, right? So if you're looking for more feature-rich sheath, you'll have to get another one made. But they do come with ones that are really good out of the box. So unlike the Shobu Zukuri line, I think I'm saying that correctly. There's like wax all over this for long-term storage. Unlike the Shobu Zukuri line, the handles here are removable. I would call these clamshell because they actually encompass a full tang. Now, the full tang has a nice sort of taper to it, but I don't want to call it like a stick tang. Like, it really isn't that that reduced in profile. It's actually pretty. It's pretty much a full tang, right? So anyway, these are micarta scales. They have a dome screw on the right side to help. Get the fuck out of here. A domed screw on the right side to help to help you with orientation of the knife, right? I think little touches like that in a knife are very thoughtful, and I usually enjoy them a lot, right? So you have a nice upswept blade. This is definitely far more angular than the more curvy Shobu Zukuri line. Where is that? I actually have the 3.5 here with me. We can do a little direct comparison. So you can see the differences with the box out of the way. You have the pin scales here. The pin scales give, certain benefits, right? Rock solid reliability. And you get a profile that maybe you can't necessarily get when you're dealing with hardware, right? And there's a certain level of expected failure with introducing extra hardware, right? But there's a level of user serviceability when you have hardware, right? I really like that because when I want to clean this, I can take these scales off and I can throw the entire blade into a bath of a solvent or a cleaner or a protective coating even. And then when that protective coating dries, I take the blade out and I put the scales back on. And then I have a knife that's kind of prepared for the day. Now, if you're talking to me about the vibes of this knife, I would say it's a little slightly upscale, a little classy. The textures are not very aggressive at all. They're pretty, not even neutral. They're very reserved, right? This is a very smooth handle. There's enough texture here to let you know it's there. It's very uniformed. The spacing is nice and even. It's like a little sword handle, like an ancient Kaiken handle. You know, you have this nice kind of satin finish. It's not. Here, I'll kind of wipe some of that wax away. It's just kind of like a stone wash finish, really. And these nice kind of angles, right? These angles are just rich to me, right? So the one gripe that I will make with this compared to the Shobu Zukuri line is this has a nice blade choil right here. And I know I this has a fixed focus. At this point, I should have used my iPhone. I'll probably put a picture up of it. But there was a nice, very sharp shoulder here where the edge of the edge starts. And when I say sharp shoulder, I mean it was a very sharp angle. And if you're ever going through anything, right? If you're ever going through anything and you go to the hilt and you go to pull, you're going to get caught on fucking everything if you have a really sharp angle right at that blade. And what I found was that sure as shit, it got caught on anything. If you're opening a bag, you don't have to be murdering people. If you're opening a bag, right, and you go all the way in, and you might say, well, just don't go all the way in when you're opening a bag. Hey, man, sometimes I'm overeager to get the Doritos out, okay? And I insert all the way, and then, well, my knife is caught. Oop, my knife is caught. Now, you can have your blade choil, and now you're now victimized, and your blade choil is now dictating how you need to use the knife, right? Or I could just not have the blade choil, and I could use the knife however I want, right? So that was kind of a big complaint for me. That was a big drawback because I felt like I feel like the blade choil limits knives in general. So I gave Chris Williams an idea to update the Osuraku Zukuri Kaiken. I gave him a couple ideas on that. We went back and forth over email for a couple weeks, I think, and I gave him all my thoughts on it. And he's actually going to be flying to Lionsteel to finalize the redesign of the Osuraku Kaiken. I actually haven't emailed him to see if he used any of my ideas I gave him. I'm too proud to do that because I'll feel bad about myself if it turns out he didn't use any of my ideas. It's a 4.5 inch blade, magnacut steel, right? That's really all you need to know. Lionsteel's in Italy, right? At one point, that may have really kind of guaranteed that Italians made this blade. That may not mean that anymore. So, it being made in Italy means whatever it means to you. So anyway, lanyard hole here for people, for the psychopaths who run lanyards. Double bevel on the spine. I don't know if that's really kind of able to be seen. I feel like maybe I should just film with my phone, for fuck's sake. But there is a double bevel on the spine, which is nice. Gives it a very, like I said, a very geometric shape. You know, you got very multiple different planes and angles here with this tanto blade. So, very clean looking knife, very angular, very kind of very sexy handle. I think this is a dress well knife. If you're asking me about that, yeah, I would say this is a dress well knife. This is what I use this knife for. When I was going out for a nice dinner, I would tend to carry this knife. This is the knife that I would carry. I don't know why, but that's kind of how I felt about it. So, but now as I pure fleet my collection towards knives with no blade choils, this is on the chopping block, but I thought we'd revisit the knife as a design and kind of how it was. I felt the knife cut well, it penetrated well, it held up to use well. I actually did carry and use this quite a bit, and it looks great still. You know, it's been sharpened a couple times, so really no overall complaints. I am a huge fan of Williams blade design. Obviously, I had this other Kaiken of his in my pocket for no reason. So, anyway, hopefully his new Osuraku Zukuri Kaiken will not have a blade choil, naughty, and it can be a serious contender for like an EDC knife, right? Because I don't think features on a knife should dictate how you carry a knife, right? And it's one of the reasons why you know that I carry a lot of knives with pretty neutral handles, because I don't like my knife dictating my use, right? So anyway, I'll see you later, man.